the presidential campaign is a weird deal. Feels like Kamala Harris is trying to buy everyone. Weed for everyone. Money for the brothers. Let's go. Well, Harrison Faulkner asked a room full of women, how many of them are concerned about their daughters having to compete against men in their sports? And every woman in the room raised their hands. It was like a church revival. Everyone, hey, you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, Donald Trump, running for president, Trump, said this. He said he will put a ban on men from competing in women's sports. Now, I got to tell you, the reason I slowed down right there and said ban, because I just want you to think about this. Just think about what we're talking about. The presidential candidate, the front runner right now for president of the United States of America, has to put a ban on men playing women's sports. Let me say that again. A ban on men playing women's sports is actually an issue in this country. What a great country we have if that's among the issues. All right. Here is the Faulkner Focus on Fox. See what I did? The Faulkner Focus Fox. Here it is.
Up and down the ballot. How many of you are worried about biological men and boys competing against women and girls in sports? Just show me. That's almost that is the entire room. And I know you have a question.
I do.
By the way, excuse me, it's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Your question, your name and your hometown.
My name is Linda, and I'm from Milton, Georgia.
Good.
But originally Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, wow.
I'd get that
good.
in there. My question is, how do you plan on addressing the transgender issue in women's sports? I have 9 grandchildren, 6 of them female, all playing sports, and we are very concerned for their safety, not just on the field and the courts, but in their locker rooms as well.
Right. It's such an easy question, and everybody in the room, and you know that answer, we're not going to let it happen. You look, just yesterday, they had a volleyball match. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Where a person that transitioned, okay? We have to be very careful because this can terminate your political career if you say it's slightly off, all right? But transitioned from man to female and was on a volleyball. And I saw the slam. It was a slam. I never saw a ball hit so hard. Hit the girl on the head. But other people, even in volleyball, they've been permanently, they've been really hurt badly, women playing men. But you don't have to do the volleyball. We stop it. We absolutely stop it. You can't have it. It's a man playing in the game. Physically, from a muscular standpoint, even if it was a little bit less, maybe they do all sorts of tests and drugs and everything else. Look at what's happened in swimming. Look at the records that are being broken.
So how do you stop it? Do you go to the sports leagues? Do you go to the Olympic
You just ban it. The president bans it. You just don't let it happen. Not a big deal.
It is amazing. It really is. The first response on Twitter to when Dylan puts and pins our show up on Twitter, the first comment was, can you believe this is a conversation? I can't. It's stunning to me. And again, I've said this, I'll continue to say this, and I won't stop saying this, which is, you want to play? Great. Play against the men. Second gentleman joined Emmanuel Acho for an uncomfortable conversation. Basically, when Emmanuel Acho, who has made his living off this uncomfortable conversation, when he wants to have an uncomfortable conversation, basically everybody that talks is racist. That's just what it is. And, well, the first gentleman, Doug Emhoff, joined Acho for an uncomfortable conversation, and Emhoff claims that people are intentionally mispronouncing Kamala Harris's name. See what I did there? In an attempt to diminish her. And that he's not any less of a dude for supporting her. No, he's not. I've said this all the time. I will say this. I wish Lee would go back into coaching. I'd be the number one fan. I would. Did Emmanuel have an uncomfortable conversation? On the report, Doug struck then girlfriend or cheated on his wife by impregnating his nanny. Now, that would be an uncomfortable conversation. Let's have a look.
What does it say about kind of gender inequality, either subliminally or overtly, that there are little things like referring to a man in office by his last name, which signifies an authoritative position, versus a woman in office by their first name, which kind of signifies, yeah, we're friends.
Or even worse, when they intentionally mispronounce her name, which is another way to try to diminish or demean. Yeah, no, it needs to be equal. And I've been, trying to, live that. Someone who stepped away from a big career that I love very much to support her. And it's okay to do that. It doesn't make me feel like I'm any less of a dude by doing that. She supports me just as much as I support her.
That's great, man. That's awesome. But nowhere in this conversation did Acho talk about, well, you smacked the girl, your girlfriend. Hey, you impregnated the nanny, then had her get an abortion. Does that make you less of a dude? I think it does. I think anytime you smack a woman, it makes you way less than a dude. And I always say this about smacking a woman, Doug. I always say, what do you do after? What's your move? Like last night, I ate my stepdaughter's ice cream. Wasn't right, but I was hungry and I like ice cream and it was low fat, low calorie. So what did I do? I went this morning, bought her flowers, a card, and ice cream. I did because I don't think she wanted me to eat her ice cream. I was trying to be sneaky and, well, I wasn't. So that's what you do when you do something wrong. But I never understand what you do when, hey, I smacked my girlfriend. Yeah? What do you do then? What's your move, Doug? See, that would be an uncomfortable conversation. Doug, the nanny's just nannying. You're married. You're the husband. Does it make you less of a dude to impregnate the nanny? Are you supporting your first wife by impregnating the nanny? My answer would be no, you're really not. See where I'm going here? Don't act like you're some supportive dude when the worst things that you could do, I believe, to a woman as a man are impregnate somebody, not your wife, make her get an abortion, and slap your then girlfriend so hard it spun her around. That's what makes you less of a dude, son. And it makes no difference whether somebody says Harris or Trump or Kamala or Deanold. Doesn't even matter a little bit. Quit whining about little things. Let's get to the big things. My opinion, nothing bigger in a male-female relationship than cheating on them with a vulnerable young woman, impregnating them, and then asking them or making them or paying for however you do to get an abortion. Nothing less manly, nothing less of a dude than slapping a girl, punching a girl, grabbing a girl, throwing a girl down, whatever it is, abuse. Nothing less of a man. Nothing. So shut the hell up, Doug Emroff, or whatever the hell your name is. You're not a supportive dude. You're a predator. You're an abuser. Period. Now that would be an uncomfortable conversation. But, well, Acho, he don't want to do that. Nah, we're not doing that. We want to ask about being supportive. And is somebody saying the right name? Yeah? That's really important? All right. God bless you. The human bowling ball, Danny Lebitard, also had M off on his podcast, yet he refused to ask the first husband about troubling allegations that he slapped his girlfriend. Instead, the human bowling ball first question, tell me what you learned about love from your wife. Which wife? The first wife that you impregnated the nanny with? Which wife, Dan Lebitard? Boy, these are hard-hitting guys. These are tough-ass guys. All right. We had thought Lebitard might cite the reports that Emhoff allegedly striking his former girlfriend across the face, not only because the story is news, but because Lebitard has always claimed to have zero tolerance for abuse. Lebitard has made the claim over and over again that he has zero tolerance for domestic violence and abuse. 2022, Lebitard dedicated several segments on his show to calling for the party to discipline UFC president who slapped his wife at a party. Last year, Lebitard scorned HBO for not focusing an adequate amount of airtime on Tyreek Hill's horrifying history of domestic abuse during Hard Knocks. But see, those folks are easy. A football player is easy. Dana White's easy. Dana White's really easy, particularly when he is a Trump supporter. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened here. Le Batard so badly wanted to have Emhoff or Doogie on the show. I guarantee you the First Gentleman's people told Le Batard and Acho, yeah, he'll come on the show, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that, or I'm not coming on the show. See, these guys are complete frauds. And if you don't think this isn't a part of election interference, then you haven't paid attention. It's exactly what this is. These are these guys putting things in the way. These are media guys saying, look, we're on your side. We're going to go with you. So we're going to prop you up regardless of whether or not Le Batard and Acho are hypocrites. You want an uncomfortable conversation with Doug Emhoff? Here's what you say. All right, Doug, there's allegations you slapped your girlfriend. What about it? Why should anybody think you are a supportive male presence when you're first with your second wife, when with your first wife, you impregnated the nanny? But now, the second question, I know the answer. I've learned, blah, 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 blah. The first question about slapping your girlfriend, he would have to either refute the story, and maybe it is false. Who knows? He could give credence to it being false, or he would have to act apologetically, and apologetically wouldn't work. No. Apologetically would not work. So, while all of these guys claim to be something, Le Batard and, of course, Acho, when it comes to politics, when it comes to the First Gentleman, when it comes to Kamala Harris, they step aside and let the good times roll because, look, we got the First Gentleman on our show. Interesting. You know, the Thursday night crew on Prime, which is on tonight, is kind of interesting to me. Interesting in this way. Well, they allow a serial get-arrester, whether it's drunken DUI, whether it's abuse, breaking into his mother-in-law's home, whatever it is, and Richard Sherman to be on it. Fitzpatrick is supposed to be the interesting, wacky old QB, Ryan Fitzpatrick, and really, kind of not. Andrew Whitworth, okay, I don't know. Clarissa Thompson, all right. I mean, I turn it off. Let's put it that way. And Marshawn Lynch is like a big presence. All that dude is get drunk, high, whatever, flip cars on the strip in Vegas. But Fitzmagic, well, he's bothered by Aaron Rodgers' leadership after being questioned about what happened on the play. And whoa. After being questioned about what happened on that play, and I was calling Mike Williams out. Why can't he shoulder all the blame? What happened was, on the pass, end of the game, Mike Williams going out, slipped, but apparently he wasn't running the red line. He was running some other pattern. And Aaron Rodgers said that. And Fitzmagic doesn't think that's right. Fitzmagic thinks that Aaron Rodgers should, and I think he's right, Fitzmagic here. Look, you can blame, but you can also say he would have been there if he didn't slip. Now, I don't know how the hell you go about not slipping. So Aaron Rodgers be tripping while Mike Williams be slipping. The response is the biggest thing I don't understand about Aaron, Fitzmagic said. Can he be super charismatic? His swagger gives teammates the ultimate confidence, but why can't he shoulder all the blame in the media, then get behind closed doors with Mike Williams or the whole offense or the whole team or anyone else that isn't doing their job and tell them he needs more out of them? Hold on a second. I'll tell you why. Because he has morphed into coach GM status. That's right. He has. You may not believe that, but he has. What does a coach / GM do? Many times they will use the media. I did as a head coach. You use the media to get a point across to your team. And that's what Aaron Rodgers has morphed into. He thinks he's in that space. Coach, general manager, platform, use it, get to the team. The need to set the record straight at the expense of someone lesser than just hurt me. It didn't hurt you. Fitzy, baby, if it hurts you, I don't know what to tell you. You'll get over it. That would be my response. Hey, you'll get over it. And you know who else will get over it? Mike Williams will get over it. And you know who else will get over it? The Jets will get over it. That's what they would. Maybe, just maybe, they have talked about running routes the wrong way in private, in front of the team. Maybe, just maybe, Aaron Rodgers is fed up with having these discussions with Mike Williams and maybe others on the team. You ever think about that? Maybe finally it has boiled over and Aaron Rodgers is like, I don't care anymore. I'm at my wit's end. This guy needs to start doing what we all expect him to do. We've asked him. We've talked to him. This is what I would say as a coach. I've asked you. I've talked to you. I've brought you in. I've shown you film. And yet I'm still not getting what I need, the team needs out of you. Why? See, Coach Knight was genius. He would say this: are you either too dumb to do it or do you not listen? And you go, quandary, trick back. I would always say, Coach, I listen to every word you say. I just must be too dumb. I think I'm just too dumb. Of course, Michelle Beadle chimes in. Michelle Beadle, once the it girl when she was partnered with Cowherd. Michelle Beadle, here's her take on, listen for it, a crap leader. That's what Rodgers is. Let's hear it.
Great leaders take the hits, right? Like sometimes a great leader outwardly must always show a sense of unity with the team. That's how I interpret a great leader. Now, whether or not you are 100% right in your assessment of that situation and Mike Williams was maybe not where he was, fine. But that's what you do behind the doors. That's what you do as a leader in the locker room. But you don't, and if this was the first time, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. It's not. It's like the 90th time he's thrown a teammate under the bus or thrown the team under the bus. And so maybe this is why you've won Super Bowl and one Super Bowl only. Maybe for as great as your arm is and how great and talented you are as a quarterback, you're kind of a crap leader. Because I don't think you make teammates, unless they're the 2 or 3 that you handpicked, I don't think you make them feel safe and trusted, which as a person who, would look to leadership, that's all I want. I just want to know that, like, you know what, if I screw up, dude, like, talk to me about it, but let's maybe not go out and publicly humiliate me.
I want to be safe and trusted. Really? Now, how does Michelle Beadle know anything about leadership? Does she read a book? How does she know? How does she know that Aaron Rodgers hasn't said this many times to this guy privately? How does she know? She doesn't. I want to be safe and I want to be trusted. Well, let me explain how that works. You perform, Michelle Beadle. You perform. Yet that's what you do in sports. It's a freaking meritocracy. You don't show up and everybody says you are safe and you are trusted. Shut the living hell up. Maybe the effeminate males need to feel safe and trusted. Athletes need to be challenged. Whether that challenge is on the field, off the field, in the weight room, diet, whatever. Athletes need to be challenged. They don't need to be safe and trusted. What the absolute? Can you believe that? Can you believe that that is said in the? Yes, I can. Athletes need to be safe and trusted by their leaders. No, they don't. I mean, the bad ones, they do. Absolutely. The great ones, they need to be challenged. And if I got to challenge you by humiliating you, God bless you. But my God, can you believe this? Can you believe this is the most amazing? I'm just stunned. This is a national voice. Get Up was started with her, Jalen Rose, and Mike Greenberg. Only Greenberg remains. Aaron, I got a headache. Aaron, I got a damn headache. This is your girl. Oh, man. All right. I must be safe and trusted. Let me explain what happens. If I continue to do something stupid, which, I mean, let's be honest, pretty good chance I get phone calls from my leaders. If I continue to do it, I would assume it'll get more public, like, hey, Dakich, you're out. I don't know what to tell you. And these guys are my friends. Honest to God. The wussification of America continues. And I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it. I'm sorry. Everybody should drink Jack and eat hot dogs. Future NFL Hall of Famer Tom Brady is officially a minority owner of two Las Vegas franchises, the WNBA Las Vegas Aces, and now the big one, the Las Vegas Raiders. Here is how it's going to impact his day-to-day broadcasting life. Look at this. So Tom Brady, as an owner, is not permitted to be in another team's facility. Really? So Jimmy Irsay can't go over to, Mike Brown's place, hang out? He's not permitted to witness practice. Really? He's not permitted to attend broadcast production meetings in person or virtually. He's prohibited from publicly criticizing game officials and other clubs. He is subject to the NFL's gambling policy and subject to the NFL's anti-tampering. You know, that is really interesting. Like, they're paying the dude $30-some million a year, 10-year deal, like $37 million. $37 million to broadcast what? I don't know. 18 games, 20 games most. That's it for $37 million. Now think about this. What a great gig Tom Brady has. He can't go to production meetings. So give you an example. Big Noon Kickoff is coming in to Bloomington. Urban and Mike Ingram, Rob Stone, they're all coming, okay? Friday night, they have these production meetings because, well, you get there bright and early. Saturday, it's a show. So they got to start early. So Brady, if he a part of that show or any show, doesn't have to go to any of it. His job was just made so much easier. Here's the other thing. Brady doesn't have to criticize officials, which means that Brady can't be criticized for looking the other way on officials. The NFL wants a clean broadcast with no problems. They don't want any hassles. They don't want any controversies. They don't want anything. And they made it so easy for Tom Brady. Tom, what about the 16 missed calls that you guys showed in replay? I don't know what to tell you, man. Can't talk about it. Tom, you seemed unprepared. Look, I can't go into production meetings and talk to Mike Tomlin and talk to John Harbaugh. I can't do it. It's pretty good. All the while getting that $37 million while being a minority owner in a billion-dollar industry that probably within 10 years is going to double in value. Tom Brady continues to get over on all of us. Tom Brady continues to outsmart the world. That's how I'm looking at it. Now, somebody might look at it, well, he can't really do his job. You're right. He should step down. Maybe, I don't know. But were you him? Would you step down when they just made your job way easier? Because here's the deal. When you broadcast a game and the officials screw it up, or maybe they have made a number of smaller missed calls or calls that weren't, you know what I'm talking about. There is pressure on you as a broadcaster, particularly the analyst, to do two things. One, criticize that official. Two, keep it within the bounds where it doesn't affect your bosses, where they don't get a phone call. In my case, from the Big Ten, saying, what the hell is Dakich doing? Or what the hell is Brady doing? I'm telling you, I just made Brady's job incredibly easier. Good for Brady. Brady's always getting over on us. I ain't mad at it either. I kind of like it. A then 14-year-old female track and field athlete who earned second place behind a trans athlete speaks out against the runner that beat her, saying it's unfair. How are we going to elect a woman president that's a Democrat when Democrats can't even tell you what a woman is? But I digress. I later found out they were upset that a transgender athlete had competed a bunch of girls. And when I found out, which was later that day, I was pretty discouraged. My biggest takeaway is that allowing boys to compete in girl sports isn't working, and it's not fair. It isn't fair, and it isn't working for biological girls, and it isn't fair. And it isn't working for transgender athlete, young Miss Wilson said. She ain't wrong. Our message is fairness and protection of biological girls, but also that these are children, transgender, female, and we're really trying to put that across. We don't want to spew any kind of hate because we do realize this 14-year-old transgender athlete is a child. That being said, hormone blockers and surgery cannot undo male puberty, and that advantage still exists, regardless of what trans advocates try to say. She's right. The reality is that kids under 18 cannot transition. They don't get hormones. They don't get anything. So they're not even transgender, Elizabeth Wilson said. We keep saying transgender to be respectful, but in reality, the reality is these are males. They're boys racing against girls. I go back to what I said initially. Why are we even having this conversation? Why am I the only one taking a pee into an oncoming wind? Why am I eating yellow snow here? Why can't people figure out, great, you want to compete? Compete against the boys. Girl to boy, compete against the boys. Boy to girl, compete against the boys. It's simple. You know, I guess you can't get all those things under 18, I guess. So what you're basically telling little girls is you could walk up there, say, I'm a girl, and go compete in the girls category as a boy. Now, if that seems right to you, I don't know what to tell you. Now, maybe you think that's not a big deal, but it kind of sort of is. I mean, I watch and see all these ads talking about how sports builds character, how sports does this, that, and the other. So you got discouraged, you got tearing down. And again, I have no problem. I have none. I get viewed as anti-trans. I am not even in the slightest. I really am not. Live your life. It's none of my business to live your life. But when it comes to sports, there's a lot of women that fought really hard for women to have sports. And if it has to happen, okay, then make damn sure they compete against the boys. It's that simple. You know, I just don't get this. I will never get this. I don't get this. I don't understand this. I don't understand the disdain for police and the propping up of criminals. I will never understand. I will live, I think I got about 20 years left. I will live those 20 years not understanding it. A poorly worded tribute came back to bite the Georgetown women's basketball right smack in the old ass. They put a tribute out on former player Sydney Wilson, who slashed a police officer in Fairfax, Virginia before her death. We are not showing you the body cam footage. We will not do that. This woman slashed at a police officer, came at him with a knife, got shot, and Georgetown wants to celebrate this person. Georgetown women's basketball moans the tragic loss of Sydney Wilson. Forever a Hoya. The community notes are interesting. Sydney Wilson attempted to stab a police officer who then shot her in self-defense. Fairfax County, the police in Virginia released the body cam footage of the Asian American officer who shot dead a 6'5" black assailant who surprise attacked him with a knife September 16th. The shooting renewed calls for action by BLM activists. Really? So a woman comes at you with a knife as a police officer, and what are you supposed to do? Just just get stabbed and die? No. You know what? I haven't seen BLM helping down in North Carolina or Florida. Did I miss that? I must have missed that somewhere. I must have missed the Me Too movement down there helping. I must have missed all these social justice activists down there helping. But hey, let's protect the living hell out of a criminal. All right. Okay. According to a new article by Real Clear Investigations, crime is not down. We knew this, 2.1%. Despite what lying, cackling Vice President Kamala, whatever the hell her name is, Harris says, because according to the FBI, they quietly revised those numbers, releasing new data that shows violent crime increased in 2022 by 4.5%, including data detailing thousands more murders, rapes, assaults, robberies, aggravated assaults. Trump was right again. The actual number, the actual changes in crimes are extensive. The updated data for 2022, that there are, listen to this, 80,000 more crimes. 80,000 more violent crimes than in 2021. Additional 1,699 murders, 7,780 rapes, 33,459 robberies, 37,091 aggravated assault. The question nationally arises, should the FBI's 2023 numbers be believed? It's astounding to me. The job numbers were wrong, all in an attempt to push forward Harris and her agenda. The FBI isn't the only government agency revising its data. The Bureau of Labor Statistics massively overestimated the number of jobs created during the year that ended in March by over 818,000 people. This is what I say, I don't believe anybody. And one of the things that Trump has done is open up the swamp. I don't know that he's drained it, but he's opened up the swamp. We can't even trust the FBI to give us actual numbers. Here's Donald Trump at the debate talking about this exact thing.
Crime is down all over the world except here. Crime here is up and through the roof. Despite their fraudulent statements that they made, crime in this country is through the roof. And we have a new form of crime. It's called migrant crime. And it's happening at levels that nobody thought possible.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country. But
excuse me, the FBI they were defrauding statements. They didn't include the worst cities. They didn't include the cities with the worst.
That's right. That is 1,000% right. It's not even a little right. It's 1,000% right. Period. And now the data's there. It is astounding to me. All right, I got to bring in Nick. Nick, get in here. Last night, Ohtani, boom. Max Muncy, boom. Walker Buehler, so. I don't know. Are we going to have a Subway Series, Yankees and Mets?
No. Last night was a fucking deflating loss. 3 bombs like that. Imagine spending $300, $400 on those tickets. First game at Citi Field, and boom, 8-0. Walker Buehler has been crap the entire postseason, and he comes into Citi Field and he puts up 4 scoreless innings, six strikeouts. Fans were booing toward the end of the game. Yeah, no, it's looking like Dodgers in 6. They're going to close it out in Chavez Ravine.
What? Whoa. Fans were booing? I turned it off. When were they booing?
Yeah, toward the end of the game. They just weren't putting
weren't
putting up hits. They're booing the Mets. They're booing their own team.
That's not nice. That's not good.
No, I
were
know,
you there?
but,
Were you part of the booing?
No, but to an extent, I can't really blame them because that's a deflating loss. Like, imagine spending like
That's a tough one.
$400 on like a bleacher seat, right? Or like, because Citi Field has got some pricey ass tickets. So imagine spending $400 to watch them just get smoked. Only have 4 hits, leave the bases loaded like a couple times. Can't blame them.
So let me ask you. So let me ask you. Let's say you're right. Let's say the Dodgers are going to win in 6. Okay, 5, whatever. Okay, all right. Is this a successful season for the Mets?
Yeah, I would say so, because they were counted out
I
from the
would
very
too.
beginning, in the beginning of the year, and then they were noted as sellers toward the end of the year. They were the whole mainstream media, legacy media, told them to sell Pete Alonso. So it was a good season.
I agree. I agree. I think at the, if the Cubs had gotten, what is it, the NLCS, I would feel good about it. I at least they gave me something to watch going into the middle of October into November. I mean, I think it's all right. But I don't think there's any question, do you, that lineup that the Dodgers put together is pretty damn good. And Ohtani, I don't give a damn if he's hitting 200. I don't care what he's hitting in the playoffs. That dude stands up there with an incredible presence. Obviously, he delivered last night right over the fair foul pole, whatever the hell you want to call it. I call it the foul pole. But Mookie Betts, Ohtani, Muncy seems like he's been in the – all they need is Justin Turner at third, and they've got their team from like the last 10 years in the playoffs.
Well, you got 3 MVPs, 1, 2, 3, and Ohtani, Betts, and Freddie Freeman, so that doesn't really suck. You got Teoscar Hernandez, who won the home run derby, and he put up, I think, like 30-plus home runs this year. Kike Hernandez just decides to go Hulk mode in the playoffs. He's got like a 1.15 OPS or something in the postseason. He just decides to turn it on. Like, he could be like a 220 hitter all season long, but as soon as he gets into the playoffs, he turns into a 400 hitter. So it's like, that kind of sucks. Good for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's putting up good numbers, but
good for him, bad for you.
It's not easy.
Oh,
it's
man.
never easy. It's never easy for a Mets fan.
I turned it on, and here comes Ohtani with the jack. And I think I must have left because I caught Muncy on the replay. I didn't realize Muncy was the next batter. I think I went in 8 or something. I don't know. But I missed it, came back, and Muncy's hitting one in the same spot. And, all right, it was 4-zip. Next thing you know, it's 8-zip. Next thing you know, you got a problem. Well, there's always next year, kid.